shoot. Try it again. I know, it's my fault. There we go. And Phil, you can go ahead and push your button.
You too, bye.
I found out that when you do this, the camera is always focused on you. Is that correct?
In there, it is always, will be always focused on the executive, but here, the angle that you're seeing currently on the screen, when the microphones are on, the default.
And that's something that we're actually trying to fix, that when we have presented, the situation's not so much that everybody leaves their mics off so that the presenter is up on screen.
Okay, so that's it.
Like, not my, I didn't get these.
So yeah, so the last place I go to is all voice activated. Like right now, the camera will be on me. Jerry talks, the camera goes. I don't know why we can't.
Oh, well, we could.
I don't. I mean, that's.
Well,
they have it in kindergarten.
You have to spend money to do that.
We did spend money. I think,
Yeah,
I think
well,
we spent it in the wrong
I
spot.
was just gonna say, we didn't spend enough apparently. So we get what we get with this, and then we end up having to replace it before we want to, yes.
It's almost like you get what you pay for.
What is it? Planned obsolescence? Is that the term? I just learned that term. Never knew what it was until I got into politics, and then planned obsolescence. So like, so we can. Are you ready? Because we might as well just start. I mean, we can't vote on the minutes, so I can just pass over those.
Yeah, you can pass everything, discuss everything, and then vote whenever you get a quorum. You can take it back and vote.
All right, so I will call this meeting to order at 9:03. And then Micah, would you do the honors of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And my brain still goes to the people of the United States.
I figured you're caffeinated. You can start us off with a power.
Sure, domestic tranquility.
Roll call, please.
Newquist, Butler, Freeman,
Yes, I'm here.
Reddish, Williams,
Here,
Logan.
Here. Next up is the approval of minutes. We can pass over that until we get a quorum because we do not have a quorum. Old business. And then we have amending the Will County Code of Ordinances, chapters 31 through 35. I know Member Freeman had a question on one of those.
A bunch of them.
A bunch of
And
them.
I really am sorry because
No, you're
I
good.
obviously did not do my due diligence and go through these. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, I don't think I'm the only one because there were some things that I noticed that are just not.
Did we just miss some?
Either
other
that
things?
or I missed the conversation and didn't put it in my notes.
All right,
So,
so start with chapter 31. Is that what we're starting with?
yeah, I'm okay with 31.
Okay.
Cause I went back through it again after an executive meeting and it was like, get rid of the nitpicky stuff. So 31's good.
Okay. And I do know that as we go through these, we learn more about verbiage and how things should be. So, I mean, these are early on, so as we're becoming more scholared and schooled by Mr. Mock, it helps out. 32.
So here my questions come into play because the numbering is, and it's even on like just look at the numbering. It goes 32.012 to 32.014. We don't have a 32.013. Is the numbering supposed to be consistent?
No, it doesn't have to be. You'll see that in
Okay.
the state statutes all the time. They skip. And part of that is for historical purposes, that they leave that one blank because it was used for something else. And it's a way for people to think what was there before and missing, and they can look at older versions and find it.
That is a problem that I've seen occurring throughout.
Right. No, I could have renumbered them, but the reason generally I skip them is because historical reasons, people would know we used to have different versions. There's no requirement that you
Right.
have to go in consecutive order.
And I think given in like the state statute, it'll say even like repealed.
Repealed
and
or
have the
right,
date when it was repealed. just so
Okay.
people do know.
And
that
if you
there
wanted to
was
write
something.
repealed in there, that would be very easy to do, and then they would know.
That'd
that
probably be good.
We can add repealed on those.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
Yeah, because I mean,
All
it
those.
happens throughout like 32.03
Right.
to 32.005 on page one in the text page.
Right, even on the
Like 06.
face
07.
page, 04's gone, 07's gone.
Yeah, on page one, it jumps from 32.069 all the way up to 32.999, so it's like 30.
So I think-
Well, the
so
reason they
back-
jumped to 999, the reason they jumped to 999 is I believe 999 is all our penalties.
That's always.
So they
99,
always
yeah.
jump for that one.
Yeah, and then you'll see that in every chapter. The last one's 999. Yeah, if there actually was something there, I mean, Phil can go through and just put repealed.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'll put repealed both on the cover sheet and on in the inside pages.
Now, Mike, did you see that throughout the whole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's throughout, because it's like, I just kept saying numbering.
Yeah, see, I'm just used to when it disappears, it just disappears and
Well, I thought if we're gonna pass this forward, we need to be sure it is
Mhm.
right, and that was one of the
well, I think
things
that was, I'm just used to reading laws and that's just kind of standard with the laws.
The next one I have is 32.012 under administrative assistance to the county board.
Yes.
In my notes, I have that we were supposed to add chief of staff and administrative staff.
County board creates the Office of Administrative Assistant to County Board, who is appointed by the county board chair pursuant to section 30.01.
I think the administrative assistant is the chief of staff. You'd rather have him be called chief of staff?
That's what I had in my notes.
Oh, really?
From when we
Okay.
were discussing it. Because she does add the chief of staff, and then we have Terry, who is in like administrative staff.
So then who is the Office of Administrative Assistant then right now? I wouldn't even know who that is.
I assume it's Kim.
yeah.
So that would be.
The chief of staff's the administrative assistant, but if you want to call it chief of staff,
And administrative staff.
okay.
Maybe that was the question, is with we weren't really sure who we were hiring.
Here's what I would suggest. The county board creates the office of administrative assistants, plural, to the county board, who is appointed by the county board chair pursuant to blah, blah, blah.
You don't have to actually list them then, would you?
No, you don't have to list them. You just can make as many as you want, name them what you want.
Yeah.
So just add an S.
I just add an S.
Yeah,
Or
works.
you could leave it as administrative assistant. It doesn't limit it to one.
Office of the Administrative Office.
No, you say the administrative office.
All deputy clerks.
Would that work?
Does she appoint those?
All right.
The county board?
The county
No,
board
no, but I'm
creates
saying,
the
Administrative.
administrative office of the county board.
What did we say?
So
How's
it's-
this? The county board creates the administrative office of the county board.
Yeah.
Instead of who, say which are appointed. Or you could say who are appointed to make it plural.
Did you want the county board chair or, because it's not the county board, it's the county board chair that actually does that.
Well, the county board creates it in their rules.
Oh, that's right, County board.
And then they're
creates-
appointed by the chair.
Appointed by, who's, it's, there, I'm sorry, it says right there. Wait, what did ERA? Holy cow, oh, wow. This thing's really big, doesn't it? Oh, there we go, now I can read, the county board creates the office of. All right. Okay,
All right, the next,
does that sound good, 32.012?
yes.
Okay.
Is everybody okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
And when we get the quorum, we can bring it back and then amend that language and we'll be able to move it forward.
Oh, wait a second.
The next one was 32.050 under interest of county business.
Okay?
I have in my notes that we should have a line C for conflict of interest statute.
Okay, so we already have it at 45. Where else did you want to put it?
32.050 under interest in county business.
You want to add,
In my notes, I had that we wanted a line C for a conflict of interest statute.
Well,
we have it right above.
we have it above at 32045. Here, you want to
Same
look
page,
quick?
same page.
Guys, I got it.
Okay.
Okay,
Maybe you put that in there and then,
so we don't want a line C.
I mean,
Right.
it's already, I mean.
Okay.
Is that blurry? I haven't had enough coffee, I guess, today.
All right.
Does
what
that
else
work
we
for
got?
you, having it up there, though?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
I've made notes in my papers
Oh, yeah,
the,
no,
of the things that we had talked about and were wanting. So when I looked back and was doing it a fine tooth comb, it was like, well, this isn't here based on what I have written in my book.
right. Well, the more work we do here, the less work they have to do out there.
Well, and then I saw it there and I was like, this is a lot. So,
There's a lot of there, yeah.
sorry.
No, you
Um,
still in 32?
Yes, 32.065.
Okay.
I gotta get both books there. Under definitions. Gotta find my right page, 32.065.
Yeah, so that's a lot, there's 3
There we
pages
go.
here.
Under definitions. Under 2C. We
You
have
mean under
things that are
2C?
crossed out that if, should they be in there if they're crossed out?
What? 2C being campaign for elective office or,
Yeah, campaign for
okay,
elected.
because there's multiple definitions. I wanted to know which one we dealt
Yeah,
with.
okay, I'm
All
sorry.
right.
So it's under campaign for elected office, number 2C, I guess it's under campaign. It's under candidate.
Under candidate, okay.
Yeah, see the crossed out part? Should that be in there if this is the final version? I mean, are we leaving what we've scratched out?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the final version will take that out, right?
This is the final version.
So you want to leave in as defined in section 1(3) of the election code?
No, I think what she's saying is. since-
Scratched out, it should not be
gone.
there.
What, the whole word shouldn't be there?
The line.
The crossed out section is still in the clean version.
Oh,
We want
okay.
the
I was
crossed out.
looking at the other version. No, if it's in the clean version, it should not be there. It got missed. That one, we don't even have to vote on
Morning, guys.
because we already took it out. I know what you're saying. See, I've been looking at my cross-out version,
Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, it's a lot to go through, and that's what I was trying to explain. It's like, this is a lot to go through, but there's a lot. you're
No, that
gonna-
one we can just take out and it doesn't have to be there and you don't have to vote on it because it already was voted on. It was just a Scrivener's error.
There's a couple of them. Is that what you're looking at too? There's a couple more.
Yeah,
further down.
you're gonna, I would look, just keep going through because
right.
I can point them all
Any,
out.
no. Any strikeouts that's on the clean version should not be there. I'll double check my clean
Oh.
version. Don't have to address those. We'll throw 'em out.
Okay, then under that same section, under collective bargaining,
Thanks, Sandy.
Okay,
it says collective bargaining.
yeah, you don't need it twice.
We don't need it twice. And then again, there's more crossed out sections.
Yeah, the
That's
crossed out one
what
should
we
carry
do.
through. Now that we have a quorum,
Sorry, guys.
no,
Oh, that's
Mr. Chair,
okay.
now that we have a quorum, I recommend we go back and vote on the few that we've already fixed.
We got one.
Right. Well, we got two, because I would,
31 was good.
I'd like you to vote that all the repealed stuff, I mean, all the strike throughs on the titles and the provisions should have repealed, and then we can do that on all of them. Because I want everything voted on. I don't want just me doing it once we're at this point, because we're close.
I think we should do it chapter by chapter at this point. 31 I have as a good with.
Okay.
All right.
You want to do, okay, so can we add Sherry to the roll? Sherry did, I'm sure.
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
And then we'll go back and do our minutes as soon as we take care of this, so.
Well, you can, why don't you just start with the minutes and
Okay.
go from there?
All right, so, take a quick pause on the old business, so, pop up for approval of minutes. Minutes of September 17th, 2024. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion Williams.
Second Freeman.
Roll call, please.
Newquist,
Yes.
Freeman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Logan.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving to old business, can I get a motion to have any strike throughs should have the word repealed? That sound right?
Yeah, any of the strike through headings.
Any of the strike through headings instead of
Yeah, because we
removing
got
them, just
strike throughs in little words that are gone,
simply put repealed
but at heading, it should say repealed
for all the chapters?
for all of them.
So sorry, guys, I know I
Okay.
missed part of the discussion, but just so I understand, like, for example, in 31, where you've got a cross out for ethical standards for executive branch because we,
Right.
we took that out. So,
Well, no, we changed that to duties of county executive.
oh,
Oh.
sorry.
You can control your own.
Thank you. So is that where you want to say repealed instead of just like removing it from the text, say ethical standards for executive branch repealed? Is that what you guys?
No,
are
no,
talking
no.
about?
The question came into play because the numbers don't
Go
flow.
to, go to
Oh,
32.
Like sometimes 30 different numbers are
said-
missing.
They said 31 was pretty much okay unless you have a change. But in 32, if you look at the titles under county officials,
32.00.
there was a county manager that said 32004.
Uh-huh.
And instead of striking that out, it'll say 32004 repealed.
Oh, got it. Just so
And
we
then
see.
32007 will say repealed.
Okay, just so we see the number.
Why the
So-
number's not,
Right, so
has
people
anything
don't,
on
go,
it.
well, what happened to this one, you know?
Right, so they
Got
think
it.
we just don't know math.
And that's a, yeah, or that's a great transparency thing. So then someone
Yeah.
actually, do you put the date that it was repealed as well?
I could,
I think you usually do, don't you? Because then people can actually look and see.
when it was
repealed.
before.
Yeah,
No, we can. But then we'd put repealed and it would be whatever date
We
the
repeal
county
it,
board
right?
approves this new one.
also it doesn't matter.
No, well, no, but that's in parentheses. We'll put repealed hard. In parentheses, you can always add stuff because that's not
Okay.
really part of your ordinance. So if you look at these ordinances and they have little prior ordinances of the county listed, which they sometimes do,
Mm-hmm.
in parentheses, if they
Right.
see this, it'll
Right.
just say repealed and it'll be like December 1st or whatever date, December 15th, 2024 will be next to repealed, so they know. So that we can hard load in, even though it's not part of the ordinance, because it's in a parenthesis,
So,
it's direction.
so the question, so for instance, 32.004, we're striking that through. Do we need any type of authority to actually put the word repeal?
No, because when you pass this, you repeal your previous version. That's part of
Okay.
what the.
All right, good. I just want to make sure,
No,
that's
no,
all.
it'll say that all prior versions are repealed and this is the correct version. That's part of not part of this document, but part of the document that you have in front of you when you vote on it.
I
Right.
actually like this better versus just renumbering.
Oh, yeah, no,
everything,
yeah.
Because it gives a much better Cause you know, 10 years from now, people are gonna be looking at this and going, why the hell did they do that?
Why-
Kind of thing.
Yeah, no, and it's pretty standard with laws. You see a lot of repeals, especially in the vehicle code, there's a lot of repeals.
So,
All right, so the motion is all strike through titles should have repealed with today's date
and leave the same number.
and leave the same number. So I
Yeah.
need a motion for that.
No, the date, we'll add the
Whatever
date.
date.
That,
We'll
you don't
add
even
that.
address the date. That's just gonna be in parentheses. That's something staff can do because it's not part of the law.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the numbering suggestion. Is that-
Second, Williams.
Uh,
Previous roll.
We need a, we have,
She just joined
we have a,
us.
roll- we could do previous. We could
Yeah,
do
you can.
previous. So we have a first, a second previous, and a second to the previous. You got them all?
There's only 4 of us, so.
And then we have to deal with the 32012.
32.01, so I also need a motion
I'm
to
sorry,
amend
30.
Sorry.
0.012
Is the next one.
Okay.
32.
So you need a motion to change the wording.
Well,
to-
let's tell Sherry what it was.
Yeah.
Sherry, on 32012,
Yeah.
Got it?
before you got
Administrative
here.
Assistant to County Board. Oh,
Yeah,
that's 32.
right.
Hold on.
She's
I'm
not
back
there
on
yet.
32. Let me get on 31.
No, it's 32012. Administrative Assistant to
Perfect.
County Board.
Okay, I was right in the first place where I had it. Okay.
Okay, and what we're proposing is it reads as follows. The county board creates the administrative office of the county board who are appointed by the county board chair pursuant to section 3001C2. And we wanted to make sure that it was legal to have more than one administrative worker, so we're making it create the whole office. You can, as long as you got money in your budget, you could hire 100 people if you wanted to.
Yep.
And that would be the proposed language on that one.
Okay, so
Versus just one.
Just right.
it just says right now administrative
You
assistant.
got, you got to realize, in the old days, when they first did this, they had an administrative assistant because the chair was not here every day.
Right.
And the administrative assistant ran the day-to-day work.
So what is it gonna say versus what you've got in here?
It should say, the county board creates
The
the administrative office of the county board who are appointed by the county board chair.
Perfect.
Because,
Yeah, that leaves it, you could have 1, you could have 5.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, and as long as you got the money.
Yeah.
So the motion is on the table.
Second, Freeman.
previous Newquist.
Second, Williams.
Sherry's like,
I'm reading.
Sandy's at work? Okay, good. And those are the only 2 motions I got right now.
Wait, did you make the motion on that?
yeah,
Okay.
Can I make the motion? on
Can
that?
you, Kenny is the chair?
I
Can
can't
you
make
make,
the motion.
he can't make the motion. I'll make the motion.
okay.
Do we need to go through this all again?
Yeah, I think that's so.
Second, Freeman.
The previous Williams.
Just keeping us legal.
Sandy's still trying to figure it out here. Look at that.
Okay.
You guys just did what you just did, right? Again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Okay. all right.
because
The
there
same
wasn't,
thing.
I'm like, wait, are you moved to something?
Cause he can't make the
the
motion.
motion,
I'm
so
sorry.
we
Yeah,
had to
I
start over.
thought Sherry
I was
made it.
asking for a motion,
Okay.
so,
Yeah, and I tried, but then we moved on.
all right.
Does that
So-
take us to 33?
No,
No,
Okay.
the next one is on 3206505 definitions under collective bargaining. I typed it twice. That was a typo,
That's right.
but I'd still ask you just to move to pass it, to have it be just typed once.
I would make a motion to remove the second.
I like that.
I gotta look
I
at
will
it.
second it.
Previous Williams.
Collective bargaining in 32.065.
So I
Collective
can,
bargaining.
so then I can second the previous then. Since she made the motion,
No,
I'm out of it.
You get to-
you're out of it. You're,
We'll just sit
you're,
there.
Well,
but,
you two get this,
but anybody can redo it.
so Sherry can do it.
I can second it.
Oh, when I say Sherry, I actually cover it.
Hey,
through
we
the
have-
first-
Yeah.
Oh, right.
You
Do
look
we
per-
have a previous row?
I did previous.
Okay, thank you.
Then I'll second the previous,
All
right?
right, thank you.
When Sherry first got on the board, I told her it would just be so much simpler if she just changed her name. She wasn't willing to do that.
Share, we can have Cher and Sherry. No?
We just, when we write it out, we just do Sherry W, Sherry N. So.
All right,
All right, Micah, did you have another
now we're
one?
on to 33.
33, nothing else on 32?
Nope, I'm done on 32.
All right, 33.
33, I go to,
I don't know how you catch this stuff, Micah.
I took really good notes.
I mean, I look at it and I go, okay.
Under the health department, 33.063, even under the description, the title of all the different things under
Alright.
department offices and committees, it says animal control program. We have an animal protective services now.
All
Do we
right.
need to change
Well,
that?
the reason I left it that way, and if you want to change it, we can, is because there's no state authority to have an animal protection service. That's just the title. And I think if we look at that, but I'm going to quick pull it out. I think the first thing is, it gives that title in what I typed.
County Animal
63
Control
says
Program.
it's titled the Animal Protective
It says the
Service.
county animal control program titled Animal Protective Services, because animal control program is what the state statute calls it. Now, if you would like, after animal control program, I can put in parentheses, animal protection services in the title,
I don't know. I was just wanting to make sure.
but
we have
that's
the
why we
right
did it that
wording.
way.
Well, yeah, it's in there. It's in the paragraph,
It
right?
is in the paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I mentioned that later, it's here, but it's not there.
But the reason it wasn't is because for the state
There's no-
authority giving to you, it's called, the state calls it one thing, we call it another. We can call it what we want, but what it really is an
Okay.
animal control program.
So you're saying we probably should leave it Animal Control Program?
I would, but like I said, if you want to be good, we can put in parentheses after animal protection services.
But isn't that the same as saying titled animal protection
Yeah,
services?
I think Micah wants it in the title though. That's what she's.
That's if,
Oh, I
see,
see
if we
what
put
you're
it in the
saying.
title, people will say, where's the power for the animal protection service?
Right,
They'd actually
right.
read it and some people just don't read any farther
Yeah.
than that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay doing that. As
Okay.
long as it's not gonna hindrance and it's not.
It won't
gonna be
hindrance.
So you're talking about the title, animal
Right.
control
Right. Yeah,
program,
just the
putting the
title, yeah.
parentheses, animal protection services.
And the reason, and we did that before under the county home and it says Sunny Hill Nursing Home.
Right,
Or not
right.
nursing home, Sunny Hill, whatever it is now.
yeah, I forget what,
Because our original home was the poorhouse.
yeah. Okay, I'll make a motion that we change 33.063 to animal control program, parentheses, animal protection services.
Second Williams.
Previous rule,
Second Newquist.
and that was a Freeman previous rule. All right, the next one I have,
Don't we have to vote?
Yes. Oh, no,
We just-
yeah.
Did all in favor?
We didn't, yeah, we didn't,
Okay. All in favor in the last one's all right.
yeah.
all right, we have some strike throughs again, but we already voted on that, so.
Right, well, the bottom parts, anything like it says 33075 creation powers duties, that'll all be, the numbers will still be there. It'll just say repealed.
Repealed, got it.
But the heading, Office of Juvenile Services, I'll put repealed next to that.
Okay.
And the heading will still be
Okay.
there, but the little numbers will say repealed.
Do we need to somehow indicate that these were these weren't actually they were repealed, but only because
They
they
were
come under, they were like moved
Or
essentially.
new state
Well,
law.
it doesn't make a difference. It's repealed under that section.
Okay, got it.
I guess
All right.
if someone wants to read it, they'd have to actually figure it out. and
Yeah.
See that it was moved.
The next one is kind of nitpicky, 33.120 under establishment, under stormwater management planning committee.
33.
It has the into then current county board districts. Do we need the word then? I had it.
Well, the reason I put into then current county board district.
Okay. So they change every 10 years?
Yeah, and they change. And guess what? our ordinance didn't change.
Oh,
We changed our county board districts. But in this provision, we didn't have all the right county board districts precincts correct. I had to rewrite them all.
Okay, and that leads me to my next one. Hold on, I gotta get to my right page.
Wait, so can I ask a question about this? So I thought the stormwater districts didn't change.
They have since when it first started.
Because,
You let the people fill out their terms that are in it.
and then because that was, I thought like, for example, my stormwater district, I thought it still included Beecher, Washington Township. But this looks like a breakdown by county board district. And I thought
And
that at this point in time, the stormwater districts didn't line up with the county board
Like
districts.
when you originally passed it, you said it did.
Right, but but then what you're doing here is changing
The districts,
you're changing the districts.
right.
So,
Now, if you want to create it not by county board districts and you want to say the Stormwater Management Committee is just these townships and these precincts are their own district, it's separate than your districts. But I thought the county board's intent was to mirror the two always.
I did too, but
plus we picked two people, right?
Cause we had to
We had to pick
redo the
people.
whole stormwater. It took us forever because
right,
people wouldn't
right,
sign up.
because people, but I thought that even under the new, and maybe this is just me not understanding, because I remember asking this question at the time, not here, but like on the board, that like they still didn't mirror the county board districts. And so I guess my point is, what if, we now have people on the board that don't live in the district.
Doesn't matter, they serve out their terms always.
Okay,
That's what I'm trying to
okay.
explain to you.
Okay, got it.
But when the new one gets appointed, you can't reappoint them, even if they're the best person in the world, unless the other district wants to.
So
appoint
this doesn't apply to any sitting board
No,
members.
no.
It's going
them.
forward.
It goes to new
Okay.
appointments. And that's quite common in
And that makes total
government
sense.
reorganization. They let the people fill out their terms.
Yep,
Even with like state senators and stuff, they
Yeah.
change the terms, but they don't go into effect till the next time.
yeah, I mean, that makes total sense. That wasn't my understanding, so thank you.
Oh, sorry.
And we don't have to put then county board districts, but then you'd have to repass it every time, and this automatically lets you switch it.
For you.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
That's a good catch, though. Good discussion.
Well, about to lead you to a whole nother one.
The
So
more
we
you know,
good leaving then
the
in?
more you know.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
33.122 under membership. We have, oh geez,
That's.
I'm gonna do my best with my notes because they're all over the place.
We have it up on the board if you need it.
Yeah, I got it all over. 33.122 memberships. At the end of existing term, part B is what I have. So let me find that one in here. At the end of the existing term of office. Wasn't this deleted in the committee?
I don't.
At the
remember
end of the
that.
term of their office, they may be appointed.
Only appointed.
Into the correct district.
And that's what I was just trying to explain. That's what the law usually requires.
Okay. Because in my notes, I had a bunch of this scratched out. I have delete and then it was, so we're leaving that.
Well, that's a policy decision. That's generally how in government people have to reside in the districts that they represent. If you want to let them, if you want to give one county board district 3 members and another one only 1, you could do that.
Okay, but this would answer your question.
Right, like, so what you're basically saying is, let's say I was on the stormwater, management board, and when I was in District 1, and now I'm no long, my where I live is now in District 3. So I could not be reappointed to District 1. I
Right.
could only be reappointed to District 3. And if there was somebody else who was already expecting to be reappointed in District 3, then it would just be up to the county executive or whoever to work it out. But I couldn't be reappointed to District 1. That's what we're basically saying.
Right, okay, because I had part of that staying and part of it being deleted, but we want to leave the whole thing.
I think it makes sense because
Okay,
we'd be setting a precedent, of allowing people to represent areas they don't outside of their district, although it would make life easier probably for finding people to serve on it.
So it says, may only be reappointed into a correct district should the A be their correct district?
Yeah, you can put there, correct.
Yeah,
make
that
sense?
makes sense.
Because
Yeah,
if it
because
says
then
A
it's-
correct, it kind of puts it up to chance where they can go, because they're all correct districts.
Right.
The district they represent.
Something, yeah, that would be okay too. Because then it says if no position is open in their district, no
You gotta push the
reappointment
right-
may
you gotta
be
push the
made.
button.
Thank you.
so we,
We got you.
and
So-
then in that section also, I have in my notes that we were to remove all of the listing of townships and precincts because they change every 10 years.
I thought I thought I had, no, if you look at number 33-122 membership under B,
Yes,
it says currently effective on December 5th, 2022 due to the 2020 census. By saying currently effective, it only applies as long as the 2020 census applies.
So 2030, someone's got to go and redo this.
They don't have to redo it because it just says currently.
Oh,
You
okay.
just automatically do it and it's just not contained in this document. You have a separate document when you create your county board districts. And I'd recommend at the time you create your county board districts, you just put a paragraph in there that says, and this also mirrors what these stormwater management planning committee districts are.
I think that's what Mike is saying. So then we don't list them in this.
I only listed them in this because they were previously listed in this.
Okay.
And that's why I said,
So you're saying
these
take
are
them
the
out?
current ones.
that's what we had talked about.
If you want to take them out, you can take them out. You don't need them in this document because you've already said it's set up by county board
Yeah.
district.
I'm okay taking them out.
We don't have to
We don't,
put
then
everything
2030, we
there.
gotta take them out again.
But also, do we really want to leave in currently effective December 5th, 2022 due to the 2020 census? Because won't we have to change that?
Yeah,
when
but
this
all you gotta do
census
is change one sentence instead of all of them.
Why can't we just say currently effective?
That's fine.
Oh,
Then we don't have to change it at all.
ooh.
Except,
district should-
here's why.
Oh, okay.
You may not want to do that. Well, I guess you could. No, you can leave it like that.
The district shall be
Because
set
you
up
don't
by
make your
current-
districts even with the census, but that's what controls is the district.
So-
Right.
So B would be the district shall be set up by current county board districts, period.
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 Okay, cool.
All right?
I like, so,
And then we take out the townships. You can take them out because what people would have to do is they just look at the count, when you set up your county board districts, they would look at that one.
look at the map. Okay, so,
I mean, we still need the current members are authorized, blah, blah, blah. you know,
Right.
whether-
Yeah, well, that's still
Yeah.
part there.
okay, so,
Then you can get rid of all those numbers and we won't have, whoever's on the board won't have to remember. to
Right.
remember them.
Right,
Yep.
because
they're not
they weren't
here yet,
before, they
so
weren't
they're not
right, yeah.
gonna know.
so can we get a motion to amend 33.122 to make it, the district shall be set up by current county board districts, period.
And then it picks up, current members are authorized to fill, which is on the next page.
Right, and then take out the A and put their
Yep.
correct
Yeah.
district, and then delete all of the precincts.
I will make a motion to concur with that recommendation.
I will second that.
And that's great.
Can you repeat that number for me? 33?
33.122, section B. So I do
Thank
need
you.
I actually, know what, we need a roll call because Mr. Butler is. Bill, you got all that, right? I think that's
Yeah,
perfect.
no, I got it. I
I
got
think
it.
that's perfect. Saves a little ink.
I will have it retyped and sent to Sandy today and I'll have her, ask her to send it out to all you guys.
So the district shall be set up by current board members, period.
Okay.
Current board
For
district.
districts,
Period.
Speed doesn't change.
That's B. And then, right, into
We're
there.
at the end of the term.
And right here, they're correct district. And then all that's. And then we need a roll call on that. Thank you.
Newquist,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Freeman,
No, that's fine.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Logan.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That actually was a great catch because now
Do you remember
You-
talking about
I
that?
know, so I remember, so future people won't have to deal with this, so
Right.
we're helping somebody 6 years from now,
If
so
I could
hopefully
make a
someone can say.
suggestion in the future, I think when we finish a chapter, we need to go through it with a fine
We can
tooth
do
comb,
that.
because to go through all of these took forever.
Yeah, I concur.
Okay,
So you good with 33 then?
yeah, no. Um, sorry,
No, no.
or maybe, let me look. Yes, I think that's it. We had some nope, Chip, that's 32.
Yeah, I didn't see anything in
If
33.
you look at my notes, it was a lot.
Thanks.
Well, it had a lot of strikes in that provision.
Yeah,
too.
okay, so yes, I'm done with that one.
34 clean.
No,
Now, mind you, we've already made a motion to anything that's struck through with the title is gonna be repealed.
33 is good. I'm good with 33 now. Moving to 34.
I didn't see any on 34.
We don't have Micah's eyes though, so.
Oh, I did have one
I
question.
just realized everybody here on the board has glasses on today.
That's because we.
I have glasses on every day or I would
Yeah,
not be
you
seeing
can't see
you.
them.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
Oh,
I just want to be cool like you guys.
I do have one question. Under 34.021 compensation. Where
Are
it's
you in 34?
34, yes. Are we done with 33? I thought we were done with 33.
Yeah, Micah
Okay.
said 33.
I was getting ready for 34.
33 is
What do you got? What's
close.
your question?
So for
34.
34.021 compensation, where it says EMA volunteers are non-paid employees who are employees for purposes of insurance for on-the-job injuries. I guess my question is, are EMA volunteers ever paid? Would this preclude them from ever being paid or reimbursed?
We had this in my notes as checking on compensation for volunteers if injured on the job.
Okay,
That's why that language is in there. And when I checked with the current director, they said the volunteers are volunteers. They're not paid. There's no money in the budget to pay them. You guys would have to change this if you wanted to pay them. They recommended not doing that because they got enough volunteers that aren't paid, that they don't need to pay them. But they did say we currently do cover them if they get injured.
so for workman's comp, they're covered.
Right, if they break a leg, we still pay for them because they broke their leg on our time.
Okay,
And that's why I have that
That's why that last sentence is
additional
there.
language came in there because that's what they said they do.
okay. I was just
Currently.
concerned that like, do they give them stipends, ever, or gas cards
They
or?
don't give
just-
them anything.
Okay, got it.
They'll use other than driving to the pickup point, they use our trucks and equipment.
Right.
So they don't need gas. And they're basically volunteers that they do it because they want to be helpful. It's not anything
we-
else to them.
We have all volunteer
Yeah.
EMA and Stager, right?
Yeah.
It's common, so.
So I guess if you pay them, then they just become employees anyway.
Yeah, that's true, if you're gonna pay, but I was just thinking about, how sometimes you might
Right,
give
right.
people a
Well,
stipend or
let's-
reimburse them or, or something like that.
From what I understand, they're not above giving them free food. But
Oh,
that's
well,
not
yeah,
really-
that doesn't
That's
count.
not paid.
Right, okay, thank you, that was really my
So
only.
I've got a question for you in the risk management thing. Since they're not employees and they're volunteers, say an EMA volunteer gets out on the scene, as he's walking to the scene where he's going to volunteer, he slips and he falls and he breaks his leg. He hasn't technically punched in, but he hasn't technically started his volunteer shift. I mean, I know that's a really,
That be a case by case, it probably wouldn't be because similarly, if I'm driving to work, and I park in the deck across from where my office is, and if I get hit by a car, I'm not at work yet.
right,
You haven't. clocked
Because
in,
until
you
you're
signed
due
in.
to be at work, you're not working.
right.
And that's traditionally how workers' compensation,
That's what I figured.
there's tons of cases that are arguing these because it's always a matter of contention.
Right, because theoretically, if he's called out to go to a scene, he's on the clock.
He may be right.
Wouldn't have been there if it wouldn't.
Wouldn't have been there if it was
Yeah.
called
But if
out.
it was a
so-
standard, come tomorrow at 8:30, then it's not the
That's-
same
that's
as being
different,
called
yeah,
out.
okay.
Unless he's injured on county property, then it might be
That's- yeah, it's a
different,
whole
yeah.
different thing. Okay. But that
Alright.
sounds like something someone else is gonna deal
Yep.
with. Back
Are we
to
ready
Micah.
for 34?
Are we still on 34?
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
I let Sherry go.
I'm done, thank
Okay.
you.
I don't have very many. 34.070 under the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Just one sentence.
Um, under creation, on my notes, I have, we were to reference which section this is in, and it was determined this is in land use. The Planning and Zoning Commission is under land use.
Yes, but you wouldn't put this under land use because this is talking about creating all
Right,
commissions.
I have in my notes that we should put a reference which section this is in.
I thought we have C sections 155.15 through 155.22 in there.
Okay,
That
so
is,
we don't
the-
want to say land use anywhere in there?
no, because that's what those sections cover.
Okay,
Okay.
But if you wanted,
You put land use in parentheses.
Why are there two SOSs in there?
oh, I
Oh,
don't
'cause
know, it
it's-
shouldn't have been. Oh,
Because there's more than one, right?
because it's a,
Plural.
yeah, it's like a plural. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what the form said. It was like a plural.
Oh. I've never seen two of them, that's why.
all right, so we'll leave that. Next is 34.140. Oh, wait a minute, I have to
Can
go up.
we back up for a second?
Yes, because I'm not gonna go that,
Um,
number yet.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I can have a section that right in front of the 155.15 and put another section number in front of 155.12 if it looks better to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, those two.
If
I
the
don't
two
know if they're
look
even
bad, we
called
could switch it to put one in front of each one.
Section 155 through section 150. Yeah, that would, I would like that.
All right, you don't even have to vote on that one because that's a
That's just-
Scrivener's,
just-
that's
okay.
not,
That
nothing,
just
but I'll
looks-
fix that.
That just looks odd.
Looks like a typo.
It looks like a typo. Even if it's right, it looks like a
Yeah.
typo.
All right, right under that section, under creation, we have the County Regional Planning Commission.
0.085.
Yes.
Yes, I have so many things here. In my notes, I have that we were checking to see if we still do this, delete this entire section. And in 1997, we do a 5-year regional planning. There's a state statute. We don't have a planning commission. We're following state statutes through land use, strike this section out. So
What,
I don't know what you want to do with
Plus,
that.
we crossed out regional in the title, but we kept regional in the text body.
That's a good catch. Sorry, I didn't catch that one.
yes, regional should be struck.
But in my notes, I have, we shouldn't even have this in here.
No, we have a planning commission. Okay, I called land use and I asked him about this. And what I was told was they claim we still have it, but it is the exact same thing as the Planning and Zoning Commission and that they help work with, I don't remember the acronym, but it was some planning thing out of Chicago.
Oh,
The-
the
it covers
metropolitan
County.
CMAP.
Yeah, they told me they thought this would meant that our PZC works on the CMAT plans or signs off on them, no?
PZC, I don't think has anything to do with CMAP. I mean,
The Planning and
CMAP,
Zoning Commission was allegedly both to plan and to zone.
This is the regional planning.
No, I understand.
right,
Not
but he
PCC,
took
this is-
regional out. You took county, you just have, you lined regional out on the title. So you've just got county planning and zoning. So our planning and zoning only works on our, plan. I mean, CMAP is the Greater Chicago, it's the Chicago Metropolitan Area Planning
County part.
Commission. That's what it stands for. And it includes, municipalities, the city of Chicago, the collar counties, and it's a much broader,
Then we should probably strike this provision and put repealed because I agree, there isn't really in statute that existence
'Cause
anymore.
as far as my notes, in 1997, we started doing a 5-year regional planning. And there is a state statute in regards to that somewhere. We don't have a planning commission. We're just following state statute through land use.
Although it is called planning and zoning, so I don't
But
know.
this is.
But we
this
work-
is
they work
county
on other
regional planning
plans.
Commission, not planning and zoning.
Right, but why did we cross regional out?
Because land use told me that we don't do the regional stuff.
Okay,
So
then,
we can put repealed on this one and cross the whole, get rid of all of it.
but
Which is
don't we have,
34.085, 34.086.
87.
No, no.
7.
086 talks about what the duties of our normal planning and zoning.
Oh, okay.
is.
Okay, 34.085, so, okay, so
But
that's,
it's under the county regional planning
No,
commission.
it's
Yeah.
actually under.
It's
county
just
planning
under
and zoning.
duties, period.
but
Yeah.
it says which are set forth by the Regional Planning Commission and the zoning
But if
board
we're
of,
getting rid of
Definitely
the
seems
085,
tied
then
together.
it would only be 086, right?
and the zoning board of appeals. I mean, what's that?
But that's why we're getting rid of it, right?
No, you have a zoning board of appeals and you also have a plan commission.
All under land.
The
use.
county passes a land use plan,
Yeah, I'm on land use,
right? And the PCC has the public hearings on those.
right?
So there are a planning commission and a zoning
Right,
commission.
but if
You
people
said it
don't
was-
like, we can override, we land use and the county board can override the decisions of planning and zoning unless it's a variance.
So we're the zoning board of appeals?
No, that's because statutorily, that's how it reads. That you have the right to do that, but they still are a planning commission. They still plan.
Right, okay.
And you passed the plan, but they are supposed to draft it.
Huh.
And you pass the code, you pass the zoning ordinances for the whole county.
Right,
But they draft them. And that's statutorily what they do.
that's still happening?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the 5-year plan.
PZC?
I have a question.
Still-
Phil.
No, they still have,
Well,
because
but-
I've had cases in
I've been
court where
to
they said
PCC
our zone doesn't match our plan and they attack the
The
validity of
Well,
our
right,
zoning ordinance.
Right,
That's what
but I mean, we also,
Ordinance
we
is
passed
presented.
the long range, we passed,
But that's what
The
part of,
plan.
you pass it, but they're supposed to be the ones that create it.
well, I
It's
actually
really
thought it was
staff, it's
staff.
not
I was
them.
gonna say it's staff that
But
creates it.
Theoretically, it is them that create it. They have to approve it before it gets to you. If they don't approve it, it don't even get to
So
you.
then who's the zoning board of appeals?
The zoning board of appeals is the same group.
Yes.
They're combined. The planning commission and the zoning commission, that's why it's called planning and zoning commission.
So the planning commission hears appeals on the same things that they voted on. That doesn't make any sense.
No. The planning commission, wearing that hat, makes a plan. The plan is not, you're zoned agricultural. The plan is, we want this agriculture to be commercial in the future, or we want it
Right.
to be residential.
Right,
That part's done, but the exact same members, in order not to have two different boards, also operate as a zoning board of appeals, where you want to take one individual property and change it from agriculture to commercial.
Uh-huh.
And what they're supposed to do is look at their own plan that you guys passed, that they proposed, and says, no, we really think this piece of property should be residential under our plan, so we're not going to give you a commercial.
right. So what happens now is, let's say the board votes against the commercial. They say, no, we want to stay agriculture. So now it comes before land use, and let's say we agree with PZC. Well, now it still comes before the county board. Let's say the county board says, oh, we're gonna cut these guys a break. We're gonna give them their commercial designation. So they, okay, so, but let's say the county board agrees. They want to keep it agriculture. So now we've all voted against it. Planning and zoning, land use, the county board. I'm the homeowner or I'm the landowner and I want to appeal this. Where do I go?
Court,
Okay.
just like you do any other.
So there really is no zoning board of appeals.
No, it's called the zoning board. That's the name of it.
Okay.
They don't do appeals. That's the name of it. They do appeals from land use. You're talking variances. That's an appeal. I go down to land use and say, I want my fence to be 3 feet from my property
Right.
instead of 10. And they say, no, you can't do that because the ordinance says 10. They can go and get a variance
From
at the
planning and
Board of
zoning, so that's
Appeals.
technically their
And that's
appeal.
what they are, and they
Got it.
grant it, and that's the one you can't do because it's a variance.
Right, we don't vote on
That's why it's called the
variances.
zoning board of appeals. It's just the
Got
name.
it.
Don't get hung up on the name.
Okay, sorry, guys, I
statute-
didn't mean to get
It's
into
like
the
animal
weeds,
protection
but-
services versus animal
Animal
control.
control.
Yeah.
The statute says what it is. We can name it anything we want. The statute happens to call it the zoning board of appeals.
So that's, okay, sorry, didn't,
So,
I think part
and
of the
this-
problem here is that, I'm sorry, Dan, it's planning and zoning has one little section. The County Regional Planning Commission, which is something completely different than the Planning and Zoning Commission, has all these other little sections under it. And it's the County Regional Planning Commission that I have, that we were deleting this entire section because of all these changes in the wording in land use. So that's where we're at.
the title of it is still County Planning and Zoning Commission though, right?
Right, but it's
That's
different
today.
than the planning and zoning. This is county versus.
Well, I'm
planning and
saying the
zoning.
title of this is County Planning and Zoning, and then under that is all of
Right.
this stuff.
And some of this stuff actually refers to the PCC.
but,
which
but
is
under
part of the
that, it
confusion, I
still
think.
says the County Regional Planning Commission is hereby reestablished. But we took regional out of the title, which is what got me started on this path in the
And
first
we
place.
should probably just not even have that because we don't, as correct, we don't have a regional zoning and planning commission anymore. The
So-
statute doesn't even authorize it.
Okay,
So just for clarification, because this is very confusing. What we're talking about is the County Planning Commission, correct?
No. And 34070, we talked about the county planning and zoning commission.
Well, we crossed out regional, so then left with County Planning and Zoning Commission. So instead of having, beg your pardon?
Which we don't have authority to do.
No, but
I
if we
did
cross out
interject.
regional, we do have
Sorry.
authority to
I'm
do.
just saying that this, it seems like it's a definition to link the county planning commission with other commissions to form a different heading, right? Because it's saying,
What we did, you're right. What we did is in the past, when it was authorized to have the regional planning commission, we said, let's just use our people that are already doing it. So we had the PZC do a multiple hat.
so instead of reestablish, maybe you establish what the county planning commission is right now, and then leave the definitions in there, because those would still be correct with the proper headings or the proper title.
Oh, no. I mean, it's kind of redundant. I don't know why we have it's the same title, so I mean, I missed it. I just,
Well, if we don't have authority to do it.
I don't know what the
then-
difference between planning and zoning commission is with county planning and zoning commission. It's the same thing.
Well,
right?
the definition just talks
What
about them
I'm-
acting in concert and
Right.
gives them
But
their
it's-
duties based off their.
Since it's in uppercase, it's kind of like the title of that whole section and
What
Should
I
still take that second
suggest is we take out the county regional planning and zoning, or the county regional planning commission. We strike that out. We strike out 3485 reestablished. Then the duties would fall under the planning and zoning commission because we don't have those. Because it says the county planning and zoning commission is hereby assigned to perform those duties by the regional planning commission. Take out regional planning commission under duties. Because it talks about what statutory sections. We can in fact say the planning, county and zoning, the county's planning and zoning commission is hereby assigned to perform those duties which are set forth by. Then I'll
Planning
strike,
commission.
then I'll strike regional planning zoning commission and it'll just say set forth by 55 ILCS 55112.
oh, take out the zoning board of appeals as well.
Yeah, because I'm just saying their duties are set by that statute.
Pursuant to,
yeah, and then it doesn't matter what we call them.
yeah.
Right.
Only if you if you did use the term, it would be easier for people who followed to understand it without having to look up the statute.
But there's nothing that we call the zoning board of appeals, at least in our common,
Oh, man,
conversation. And
Right, no, we only have,
this whole thing
But you
is
do
really-
have a planning and zoning commission.
right, we do.
So the paragraph talks about that commission and how it's formed by the combination of the county and the other committee. And then it uses that description so that when duties, they can refer to that committee. I mean, that's why it looks like they kind of defining what the two committees together are, the new committee formed, and then they assign the duties to that new committee. So it's, instead of reestablish, it said establish the committee that they're trying to define.
But wouldn't the term creation under 3070 say that it was created?
Under 37
34.070,
Okay.
creation.
concerning the planning and zoning commission, C1,
We can say up in there if you want.
established.
You can start out with, yeah, you can put a sentence in front of that that says the Planning and Zoning Commission is hereby established. For provisions concerning the Planning and Zoning Commission, see that.
I like that.
But you don't think that the definition to explain, or is it the county, if you struck regional, the county planning commission and the zoning board of appeals shall be combined to compromise the same members known as planning and zoning commission. And then in duties, when they're talking about the county planning and zoning commission, they're talking about the duties defined in the previous, 34.085.
That
We
happens.
also referred earlier to under 34.070, we refer to our other provisions in the code under the land use part that says what their duties are, 155.15 through 155.22. Later talks about what the Planning and Zoning Commission does and how it operates.
So you're saying that in order that we shouldn't have some sort of description on how that committee's formed, like what forms those two committees? Because in
Don't need
in
to.
155.15 and 155.2, it'll say that.
I think it was formed so long ago that it's really irrelevant at this point. It's been planning and zoning for a long
And
time.
later, if you look down at 34.089 membership, it says how they're created. It says you get one member from this, one member from that.
Which is the same thing it says in planning and under the land use statute.
Right, it's same
So
thing as
why are
land
we
use.
saying it here and there?
Well, we don't need to, but I was answering the question. It does say in this section, if you wanted to know how you get these people and where they are.
Not get the people to be on the other boards, but to get the two committees to work together as the one
Yeah.
heading.
That's done.
No,
That's,
it is, it's always been done. They've always been the same. They're
Okay.
always, there is no two committees. It's the same members wearing two hats and doing two different jobs, but they've always been one group.
Okay.
For the 40 years I've been here, they've always been one group. They've never had separate group. In fact, when they had the regional provision, it was the same group that did the regional work too.
This is land use is 155.
So far, 34.085, we're taking out the whole reestablished section.
Right, and
And
we're
the-
taking out the whole reference to County Regional Zoning and Planning Commission.
So we take out the whole title,
I'd take out the title.
okay?
I would take out the title, even though I said normally I'd say repealed, and if you want to put repealed, we could say repealed. And same with established, we can take out, we can leave the number and say repealed.
The reestablished, get rid of it.
Yeah, we don't need that. But we'll still say repealed for that number, we just won't
I
use
think
the word
that's-
reestablished.
Yeah. So what about the duties?
Well, I think the duties should be written, so it's the duties of the Planning and Zoning Commission we have above, which is the
Okay,
Take out
070.
regional, take out the
Regional
RTC
words.
and the Z.
And it would read the duties under 86 would read, The Will County Planning and Zoning Commission is hereby assigned to perform those duties which are set forth pursuant to 55 ILCS, and then all the rest is the same.
So then do I need a motion to put 34.085 as repealed? Do I need two motions or is that just one?
It could be one because we're just amending language.
So we need a motion to take out the County Planning and Zoning Commission, correct? Title?
Yeah.
Well, aren't we gonna leave it county? Oh, we already have that,
We
right?
already have it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to remove the title County Regional Planning and Zoning Commission, to remove 34.085 in its entirety,
To say repealed.
and indicate that it's been repealed. And then for 34.086, eliminate by the Regional Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals, to say, which are set forth pursuant to 55, et cetera,
Just leave the by in there.
Yeah.
are set, no,
Set
we-
forth
which
by-
are set forth
Pursuant.
pursuant to, we don't want the
Oh,
by.
yeah, pursuant to.
I will second that motion.
Okay, wait a minute. So we're just removing 34.085 in its entirety.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
title.
And the title,
Okay, what title are we talking about?
County
The County
Regional
Regional
Planning and
Planning
Zoning
Commission.
Commission.
Okay, so not the title of the article.
No,
Because we already have Planning and Zoning Commission.
I
up at the
understand
top.
that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the title for the article.
Yep.
We're leaving that alone.
Yep,
All right.
And then we're crossing out in 34.086 under duties by the Regional Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals pursuant to.
And then just put the statute in there. Okay.
all
Well,
right.
I just have one more question before we go to vote, just so I have my head
Do we have
clear.
a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
All right,
The-
discussion?
Did we already have a second? Okay.
The County Planning and Zoning Commission is known as the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yeah.
So whenever we refer to the Planning and Zoning Commission, we're always talking about that. What they used to refer to as the County Regional Planning and Zoning Commission or the County Planning and Zoning Commission. So it's no difference.
Right, right.
The people
Okay.
were no
So,
different.
same thing. We just,
Just want to make sure I was clear on that. That's all.
All right, not wanting to throw a monkey wrench in.
There's two organizations, but the people are in both
Right,
organizations.
they serve more than one,
That's why I
they
was
wear more than
saying-
one hat.
A definition of that somewhere would be helpful,
Oh,
just for future people if they had a question.
Well, it'll
I mean,
have
you're
a
just
repeal
covering your
by-
bases.
It'll have.
I
a
mean, but
repeal.
that should be set out under the duties of Planning and Zoning Commission. You know,
That would be under-
regional planning, et cetera.
would that be under membership?
Well, it
I
would
don't
be
know.
under their statutes.
Maybe
the-
creation, it could be under there. You could just put, a quick definition and duties under creation. I don't know.
I believe under the statutes that pertain to planning and zoning, that they should
Okay.
have a list of all the duties
Oh,
that
they
they
do.
perform.
So 155.15.
That's why we're
Okay.
eliminating them here, because it's kind of redundant.
But I have a question or a suggestion.
Yes.
Everybody refers to it as PZC.
Right, so put that.
After creation, after Planning and Zoning Commission, do you want me to put PZC in parentheses?
Yes, I
Yes.
think that would be great.
That was just my little question on that one.
We don't need to vote on that because that's just.
No, that's just Scrivener, because it's in parentheses, it's not really part of anything, but I just didn't want to do it without direction.
So that way people know what PZC is.
Right.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion on that, or is that
No.
just
No, but you still need to vote on the previous one.
Yeah.
the 34.070?
Yeah, all the
No.
changes through eight
The big,
six.
long motion I just made.
Take out the title.
Oh, right, that one.
Reestablished to be repealed and then change the duty. So we have a motion, we have a second. We have a previous.
Previous role,
Mr. Butler's previous. Do I have a second?
second Williams.
All right.
Did we need to vote on 34.070 with the adding of the planning and zoning?
That was part of the whole.
That was part of the
motion.
motion.
Okay.
Don't we need to vote like you actually vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So do we need to leave the per diems? Do they get a per diem?
What I was told is this is gonna sound crazy. The PZC members, when they go to meet to do zoning cases, they get a per diem. When they go to meet to make the plan, they don't.
Hmm.
I don't understand that.
Right, that's this.
They try to do them both at the same meetings, but if they had a special meeting that was just a planning meeting, I was told by, I don't know who that, somebody over at land use that's involved in the zoning part, and I forgot who I talked to. He said they don't get paid for that. They only get paid when they go and vote on appeals cases.
Right. Oh.
But what they do try to do is do both of them the same night, so they get paid, because it's only a per diem.
So we need to leave that. We need
Well,
to leave that in.
I would leave that in there. So those members know up front if they're just doing a planning meeting only, they don't get paid.
And then what about the conflicting regulations? Because in my notes I have that we were getting rid of all this. So I'm just gonna go through it and make sure we are keeping it.
Well,
Oh, we need to,
technically, we can take out on 3088, but you may want to leave it in because if the state statute then again authorizes a regional planning commission, what this says is we've made an election that our county zoning board of appeals and our county planning and zoning commission has to be covered by whatever state statute's more restrictive. If you want to take it out, you could.
Do we need to get rid of the regional planning commission since we don't have one of those?
Well,
The word
there's-
regional.
what I'm saying is if this, you could take that out. You can take out this whole thing if you want. You may want to leave it in only if the state decides to have a new regional planning commission. What this says is if there's a state statute that requires it, they got to follow whatever's stricter. So if there's a state statute that says you can't make a lot smaller than 1,000 square feet under one provision or the other, they have to follow whichever one's more strict. But that's your guys' call.
You want to take out the regional part, is that what you're asking?
We just
We
struck
just
the
we just took
regional
it out for
part.
everything.
There is no regional park because the statute doesn't authorize it anymore.
Says.
But then you don't even need conflicting regulations because this only says if there's a state statute for a regional planning commission that says A, and there's a state statute that talks about a county PZC that says B, whichever one's more strict, you have to follow. That's what this says.
Oh, okay. So Mike is correct. We don't even need this. So
You
we
don't
can-
really need it, but you may want it because if you like the concept of stricter regulations
I
instead
do-
of looser,
I do like that. I
then
do
you would
like
leave
that.
it because if the state created a stricter one, you'd have to follow it.
So then we still can strike out the regional part though, which says regional, just the word.
Unless they bring it back.
Because we don't have a regional planning commission, so we can just strike out that regional. Is that a Scribner's error? Or is that something we have to?
No,
vote
you can strike out between authorizations for the Regional Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals, and it'll read as follows. Where other conflicts may statutorily exist, the county planning and zoning commissions shall be governed by the more explicit or restrictive.
I like that.
yeah, because that way if the state passes.
The state
something
passes
on-
something that's tighter than what our
Yeah.
zone is, they gotta follow what the state law is.
Yep.
All right, so can I get I guess that we need a motion. So I get a motion to remove
I would-
between authorizations for the Regional Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I would make a motion concurring with that statement.
Second
Removing of the wording.
Previous role, Newquist.
Second.
Second Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes.
All right, then we go to membership. Guys are gonna hate me on it. This is the due diligence part I mentioned at the very
We're
beginning.
here till 10:25, so I'd rather clean it up than not clean it up, right? I think we're all in agreement.
The, the membership I also had struck out because it's listing like specific areas, I guess. I'm not really.
That's
sure.
how we do our PZC.
Okay,
They don't want two PZC members or many PZC members from the same area. Because when there's open seats, they look and see, we already have somebody from Shorewood, but we don't have anybody from Beecher. So we better get somebody from Beecher because we don't want two Shorewood people.
It's weird that they don't go by county districts on this.
but
They,
regional.
they
makes
never
sense.
did. They always went by townships.
Okay.
Because that's just how they always set it up. You have to have these townships. You can move them around or if you can go by districts if you want to.
I would, I mean, to me, I think that one, the DuPage, Plainfield, Lockport, Troy and Joliet, that's gotta cover a ton of people.
But the reason they did it that way is that's a
It's not a lot.
urban area
There's not a lot of.
versus a rural area, and that's why they were doing it.
Yep,
Yes,
okay,
like-
so we can leave
Yeah,
that.
yeah, cause Moni, Crete and Will has probably
But I
got a
mean,
ton of area.
It
Right.
doesn't, there's very few rural areas in here.
Yep.
I mean, Wheatland, DuPage, Plainfield,
I think four, and- I
Blackboard.
think 4 and
Troy,
5. 4 and 5 are the
Joliet.
only ones.
Well, that's
Where's
what he
the-
said, is that-
And you
that's the
can
urban-
have up to 2 members in a
Oh, I
district.
see, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I see.
I mean, Moni, Crete, Will, and Washington, I've got a request, like, we want somebody who
That's
lives in an unincorporated area of this township, you know, I mean, because they do really try to balance
And you
it out.
can have 2 members in any one
Oh,
of
yeah.
these districts, because
Yeah.
you've got 7 members in 5 districts.
Right,
But they just didn't want to pack, if you did it by population, everybody would be from the DuPage,
Right,
Joliet, you know what I mean? If you did it by
Yep.
population, even by county board district, because those are set by population. This membership, we were trying to do more by geography.
I'm perfectly fine leaving that in.
And I gotta give you a caveat. If somebody wanted to attack this, they might be able to, because technically it violates one man, one vote, because some districts have a representative that are, you know, you don't represent real estate, but since the county board does the final passing of anything but variances, it probably would never come up where anybody would attack it.
right. Plus, the other thing is that, you know, most of the cases are really in the very rural areas for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Oh,
get
the
some.
Well,
in
that's because it's all
Joliet, you know,
agriculture
some-
convincing to another
right.
zone.
I say, cause I got Plainfield, Lockport, Troy and Joliet, and there's nowhere to build anywhere.
A little bit, we do get cases in Joliet, there's some unincorporated,
Little
you
bit.
know, in
Yeah.
Joliet.
And sometimes you
Town.
get them where they
Not
wanna-
Relevant to the other ones.
Yeah.
there's-
You know, they want to switch from industrial to commercial or vice versa, but you
Right.
don't really get a lot of the residential.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We got one in Plainfield right now that's on the agenda. Okay.
Yeah. But that's why they picked this, but there's no magic in this.
Right,
That was just a previous
check
county
these
board
forms.
thought this was the way to do it. You can switch it.
sure.
People seem pretty happy with, I've not heard people
I'd
bitch
The
about
region
the,
separates it from districts. It keeps the number manageable.
yeah.
I just wanted to be sure, because I have it marked out in my notes.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that it's
Sure.
actually
No.
supposed to be there.
And it does
think-
require at least one person from each district.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely think this is fair because, I mean, if you lived in DuPage and Wilmington wanted to do something, chances are you don't really have too much interest in what Wilmington's doing. So, but they do have representation.
And being a
Where even though Wilmington has less people, they're highly concerned about what happens in their area. So-
being assigned to that committee to go to it as their legal advisor, that committee routinely does rely on the commission members from that district to take lead and steer, because it is their area. I'm not saying it's a given automatic, but they do that.
I like it. I like the way it's set
I like
up.
that idea.
So what about the next one, which is bylaws? Because I have it struck through too.
90.
Is it supposed to be there?
They do have bylaws.
Okay,
You've bylaws struck out, Micah?
I do.
Oh,
I also have the support staff.
They use the support staff from land use. They
Okay.
do that.
yeah.
And
it
then
says that, so
the
we-
appropriation of budgeted funds.
Right, and that's what happens. Their money does not get budgeted to them directly, it gets budgeted
Yeah.
to land use. And then land use is your gatekeeper to them, so they don't spend crazily.
So some of it was supposed to be struck and some of it was supposed to stay. All right,
Philip, can I ask you a question? I don't know how this fits in all this, but there was one question I had about land use. And I know that in a lot of cases that come before, we really rely on engineers to tell us what is, not our engineers, but other people's engineers. Do we at any time have money available for land use when cases come up and they're highly contested? That we could send our own engineers out to do measurements and calculations?
First of all, we don't have engineers on staff at land use. We did it only at one time, we just happened to have one. But
So, I get that, but than to hire our own engineer to double check some
You know,
scenario?
I don't believe
Because-
there's money in their budget for that, that you could clearly do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I know there's no money in the budget for it. Is there a way for us? And I don't know if we're in that section here or because I thought they
You'd
would.
have to do it just in the budgetary process.
Okay.
And whoever, whenever you're doing your budget now, if you wanted to think that's important, you could say, we want to put in land uses budget an additional $30,000 for professional services. And you could do that. And, you know, you'd have to convince them to only spend it for that or they'd lose it.
We could go through that in a heartbeat on land.
And that might be a good thing, because let me explain something to you. You get a zoning denial. You got a gas station that wants to have, you know, drive through Dunkin' Donuts, and the neighbors are saying too much traffic, 24 hours a day, bright lights. You turn it down. You get to court, there's no money in the state's attorney's office, there's no money in land use for expert witnesses. We routinely lose those cases because the company hires an expert witness that says it's really not a problem to the neighbors. So we have alleged experts saying one thing and we only have civilians saying not in my backyard. And we lose. So if there was money for an expert to go the other way, the judge would probably go with the citizens because you got citizens plus an expert.
Right.
But we have lost many of those for that very reason, that there's no money to go against them.
So, yeah, I don't know where that, I guess we have to talk to someone in finance or.
Finance today.
Nope, it was last week.
How's that?
All right, I have one more in 34.
Perfect, and that'll round us out then.
In 34.140 Workforce Services Advisory Board,
Yeah.
originally it was scratched out. I have in my notes, we were checking on this, we're gonna
There is
revisit
one.
again in
We do have a
February.
workforce service advisory board.
We do,
Yes.
but do they report to us?
I have no idea.
Probably like Vic.
Because I know that we do the appointments, but I don't think they have to report to us.
Probably through the county executive.
If you want a report from them, you should get it from the executive probably.
And that would probably go one of the earlier ordinances where we asked for reports,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a report we could request.
I mean, but they develop, review, and recommend
But all the
their
stuff,
policies, contracts, and agreements, and we approve those.
but all those things that they develop are public record.
Oh,
You're presumed to know it just as you know, just as much as anybody is, because their policies all have to be public too.
I kind of remember approving workforce policies at one point.
And agreements. Like if they hire out, they don't bring us a,
Maybe
Well,
not though, because that's under
It
creation.
it does talk under C that you approve their bylaws, which aren't necessarily the same as the policies,
Yeah.
but their bylaws are how they operate.
But all of this could have happened before any of us were on the board,
Correct, 'cause
right?
It's been around a long time.
But
and they
in
haven't
theory-
changed their bylaws.
In theory, if they changed them, that's when we'd have to vote on it,
But
correct?
but it is in existence. I did check after the last
Okay.
meeting. That's why it's still in here.
And I
Okay.
must not remember voting. We probably never voted on anything like this because it was probably already done.
everything's, the only thing I ever see is appointments for it.
Yeah,
so that was my last question then.
Well, 34 is done then.
And I have nothing in 35. 35 was
35 's
short and
done.
sweet and good, and
I don't
that
think
brings
I had
That
it.
brings us to where we start over and I'll get all these out.
Mike
to
had his
Andy
nothing
today.
for 35, we're done.
Well,
All right, so, next meeting we'll take up at 35 with Micah.
No, she said
35 is
35 is
good. I
fine.
have nothing but
While you
35.
were, blinking, we finished it.
I love it. These last
Sorry,
six-
unless you guys have looked again and had a chance to see if there's anything at 34, 35.
Yeah, no, 35 I didn't.
Are you guys just saying I take too good of a notes or?
No.
Know that you're excellent at it.
So Phil, do we need to make a motion to
Nothing at all.
revisit this next month?
Well, I don't want to move it because we moved it once before. What I'd like to do is bring it back.
As old
You'll have a
business?
clean version
Okay,
and a strikeout version to move those forward.
Okay, and then we'll do that next month.
And then we'll move you know what I mean, next one.
So that'll be old business next month, and then the new
Yeah.
business will be 41,
Right.
42,
Can I ask
43.
a really
Yes.
picky question about 35.05? I think I might not have been here when we talked about this, because this jumped out at me. 35.05, no additions or changes to the buildings, lands, and improvements of the county home will be made except by the direction of the county executive.
Yeah, right.
So that means that we're not voting on that. I mean, like, if there was an emergency issue, we don't have to, it's not like you have to convene an emergency session of the county board to vote on this. The
Right.
county executive has the authority to authorize that. Okay, thank you. That's
So
what I,
he's in charge of the properties.
yes, that's
And-
what I thought it was saying. I
And what
just
it
wanted to
also
make sure.
means though is the director over there can't just decide to do something. They have to go. through an
Exactly, they
elected
have to
person.
go. Got it. Thank you. That was my question. That was it.
All right, so we're gonna pass over new business. We don't have time today. So we'll put new business next month. Correct?
Right.
Other new business, I don't think we have any public comment. Nothing online, no public comment. I don't think Tony's got any public comment. No announcements by the chair or reports, executive session. No executive session. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion Freeman.
All in favor?
I.
Okay.
Motion passes. Next meeting is scheduled November 19th, 2024.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
Much better at home.